Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm your favorite girl, Coach Ada. On this channel, I'll be teaching you how to build a solid website without having a tech background. I'll be teaching you how to code, simple ways to code. On this channel, I'll simplify everything. Both the terms, I will use a simple terms to explain all the tech terms so that even a child in primary school will understand it. Subscribe to my channel. Sit tight and watch how to build a website, a professional website without having a tech background, and also how to make a career in tech. I'll be teaching you the ABC terms or the ABC ways of building a website. And on this channel, we'll be using the Notepad. There are so many code editors in building websites, but we will be making use of the Notepad because the Notepad is easier to understand more than other code editors that we'll have. We have so many other code editors like the VS Code, the Sublime, and all that. We will not be using those advanced tools. We'll be making use of the Notepad because the Notepad is very easy and simple for even a layman to understand. So on this very channel, I will be teaching you the simple terms or the simple ways to build a website. Are you a business owner, a student, an entrepreneur, and you need something like a website? I will teach you the simple ways you can equally build a website for your brand, your businesses, and all that. I will hold you by the hand to teach you these simple ways. And after each lecture, if you have any question, feel free to drop them in the comment section, and I will try my very best to respond to all the questions. Now, let's begin. Firstly, we'll be starting with the HTML. The HTML simply means hypertext markup language. It is a building block of every website. The HTML, let me explain it in simple terms. The HTML is just like, let's take for instance, a building. When you want to build a house, you start from the foundation, you make the foundation, you put your blocks, you put your rods, make the pillars, you build the house to the rooftop. That's what the HTML is like in the website. It is the building plan. While the CSS is used to beautify your web page, it's used to beautify your web pages. So after you might have finished building, the CSS will now serve like a paint. When you now paint the building, you decorate it, put in your windows, put in those things that will make the house beautiful. That's what CSS does. Why the JavaScript makes it functional. So we'll be taking them one after the other. We'll be starting with the HTML. Now let's begin. As we progress, I will be explaining the element, the tags, one after the other. Now, let's begin. Go to your the search bar on your laptop, your desktop, type the Notepad, type Notepad on it, and your Notepad you see the Notepad app. It is on every laptop, so you don't need to download it. If you don't have it on your laptop, on your system, you can equally download it. Now, after you might have opened the Notepad, the next thing to do is to less than sign. In tech, we call it the opening tag. But because I want to simplify everything, I'll be using tech terms and also English terms so that anyone can equally understand what I'm trying to say. So type in your less than sign followed by the exclamation sign and the doc type HTML. The doc type simply means document type, and the document you're trying to create is the HTML. Then after you might have written that, you now close it with the greater than sign. That is the closing. In normal English, we call it your greater than sign. So it is the opening tag of a HTML followed by a closing tag of the HTML. You can see how I'm writing it there. You close it. And in this HTML, as you've written it, everything you're going to do on your website will be inside the HTML document. It will be inside it. So as you've written it, what you will now do is everything will be inside it. What you now do is go to the center and divide it into two. As you divide it into two, it simply means that everything you're going to write on your browser will have to be inside it because it is an HTML document. If you write anything outside it, you're on your own. But so far you're trying to build a website, everything must be inside the HTML. Now, inside every HTML, we have the head. And the head is the opening tag of the head and also the closing tag of the head. Whatsoever you're writing in coding, you must have an opening tag and a closing tag, and each one you write, you must close it. So every HTML document have the head, the head section and the body. You can see the next line, I'm writing the body, and I also closed it. So if you write any code you write, you must always close it with the closing tag. And everything you're going to do will be inside. You can see everything we are writing is inside the HTML. Then inside the head section, we also have what we call the title. You can see that what I'm writing is in between the opening head and the closing head. So inside the head, we also have what we call the title. This title is the name of your page, how your page will appear on the name your page will bear on the browser. That is what the title element stands for. So you now choose the name you want your page to bear. Anyone that clicks on it, they will see your name and all that. So right now we'll be using Code is Simple as our title. Code is simple. So you can see me typing the code is simple. It is inside the title. It is inside the title element. It is not outside it. So everything you write, and the title is inside the head section. Now, after this, you now come to the body section. The body section, it is now where you now write everything you want to appear on your website. It is in the body section. Then you come to the body section, you divide it into two. That is you divide the opening and the closing into two. And now write whatever you want to write inside the body. The head section is different. The body is different. So you can see how I divided the body into two. Now I'm starting with my H1. That is heading. H1 stands for heading 1. And this heading 1 can be used to write your chapters, your topics of importance. You will see how all these things will appear on our website after we might have finished writing. So the H1, so it is inside the body that you now write you now write your H1, your paragraphs, your image, inside the body section. So I've finished with my H1. That is my first heading. You are free to write anything you want, anything you want on the H1. Like, let's say your topic is on health, or your topic is health education. You can write it there. I'm just trying to use my first heading as an illustration. So inside the heading is where you introduce topics of importance. The topic that when someone, instead of you putting bold, making your this thing pro. Now let us save. Now we want to save our document. Click on File, go to Save As, then go to your file name, clear that thing there, and now put the name you want to save your document with. We'll be saving ours with index, and whatever name you're using to save your document, after putting that, you must put .html before you can save. It must be, you can see what I wrote there, index.html. Then you come to save as type, click put on all file. Then on the encoding, you must make sure you are saving it on UTF-8. That is the right code for saving your HTML file, so that when you click it on the browser, it will appear. Then after that, you click on save. You click on save. You have already saved your document. Now look at and see that the index we saved has now appeared on our Notepad. Now let's view the document that we've typed so far. We've saved the index. You double click on it, or you right click to open it. This is how what we have written so far. This is how it appears on our browser. At the top, you can see that the title, we saved it as Code is Simple. You can see it on the top of the browser. My first heading, you can see how bold it is looking. The one with paragraph, you can see that it is not that pronounced like that of my first heading. So that's how you can see. Let's go back to our Notepad. You can come back to the browser that we've opened, right click on it. If you want to open your Notepad, if you don't want to go to the Notepad again, right click on it, click on Open With. As you right click, you see a lot of options. Open with Notepad, and your code will open. I'm going to show you how the differences between the H1 element and the other H elements. Like the H1 element has from H1 to H6. So we are going to write all of them from H1 to H6. Then we'll go to our browser to see how it appears on our browser. So you can see how I'm writing the code on my notepad from the H1. As you write, you make sure you close it, and each one you write, if you write your H1, you must also close it with the H1 tag. If you write the H2, you must also close it with the H2 tag. If the opening tag is H3, you must also close with the closing tag. Each one you write, you save. Make sure you save. Either you press your Ctrl S or you click on File and click on the Save. Now let's go to our browser and see how it appears. When you come to your browser, click on the refresh sign and it will refresh what you have typed so far. You can see how it appears. This is my heading. The H1, you can see that it's more pronounced. The H2, you can see that it is semi-pronounced. The same thing to the last of the headings. That simply means that the H1 is used for important topics like important topics or important headings like your topics. The H2, you can equally use it for your subheadings and or headings that are not of so much importance like the subheadings and all that, to the last of it, which is the H. You can see that the H1 is more pronounced, the H2 semi-pronounced, the H3 you can see it's pronounced, but it is not like the others. You can see that we wrote, it is virtually the same thing that we wrote on our code. That you can see how they appear on the browser, telling you that each of them are doing different things. So if you want to write any topic that is not that significant, that you don't want it to be, that is not too important, like all these subheadings, inner headings and all, you can equally use your H6. So that is all about our headings. Now let's go for the paragraph, the P elements. You can see the opening tag with the P. Make sure you also close it. The paragraph, the normal paragraph, English paragraph. So, and all these things are in the body section. So look at the paragraph. This is my paragraph. Make sure you also close it with the paragraph, with the P element too. You can see the opening tag, also see the closing tag. Make sure the closing tags have the slash sign. So you can see the second one. This is another paragraph. I'm just using this as an example. When you want to write yours, you can, anything you want it to appear on your browser, you can fill it in there. Now we refresh, you can see how it appears on our browser. You can see how it appears on our browser. Now let's add image to our website. When you want to add image, the attribute for adding image is img. You can see the tag. You can see the tag on my screen, the img. That's one thing about coding is that you must know the order for sending necessary tags, for sending commands to your browser. Because when you don't get it right, when you don't know these tags, you will definitely not give the browser the right command to execute. But when you inside the img, you now have what we call the src. The src means the source code, the source. That simply means that image you want to put here, where is it coming from? So while we have the or alternate element, which is the ALT. The alternate element is used to give names of images that will not display. There are some websites that you open, you will see image, you will see something like photo frame, but you will not be able to see the images, but you will see a name written underneath it, maybe to tell you what the image. You put the source code for writing. If you put the source, you put your equal to sign, then put your quote. You put your quote sign, double quote sign, then you write your image name. The image name must be exactly the same name you saved on your device, on your system. Let's say, for instance, let us go to my pictures. Let's go to my pictures. So let's go back to our system and see what we saved our image with. Let's go to the folder called this simple. That's where I have my image. The image is bird logo. That's what I saved the image with. And when you're writing your image code, you must also write the file type. The name of the file is bird logo, while the type of file is JPG. JPG file, that's the type of image. We have PNG images, we have JPG, we have JPE code. So the name of my file is bird logo, the image is bird logo dot that type of image, which is the JPG. Then you close it with your quote. Put the alternate element equal to what kind of image is that? That image is a music logo. It's a music logo. You also close it with the quotes. Save it. Save and go to your browser to view. Now refresh. You can see the image has appeared on our website. You can see the image right now. It has appeared. But assuming we did not type it correctly, it will never appear on the website. You can see it has appeared on the website, but you can see that the image is big. It is too big. So we now have to adjust the size. So we will go back to your code and to adjust the size, you use the width and the height. In your width, you can just name the width any figure, any number you like. It depends on the size you want. So our width will be using 100 for the width, while for the height we'll be using 120 pixels for our height. Then we'll save our document, go back to the browser, refresh, and see what the document will look like. Refresh. You can see that the image is smaller now, but if you want it to be bigger than this, you can still increase your width and height. If you also want it to be smaller than this, you can still reduce the width and height. It all depends on what you want. Now, after adding our image, the next thing is the HTML button. The button. To add a button to your email, to your website, you use the button tag, the button element, the button tag, the button opening tag, and with the closing tag. You also close it with the button tag too. Then you now come inside of it to write whatsoever you want to write, like the click. We'll be using click me. Then after that, go to your browser, refresh. You can see the button has appeared, the click me. There are some websites you open and you see this, but you can see that our click me is attached, is on the same line with our image, and that's not what we want. They are not. That's one thing about coding. You can see that it is on the same line, but in our Notepad they are on separate lines. That's why you need to be very, very careful when you are coding, because whatever command you send, that's what the browser will pick. So the click me is on the same line with the image, and that's not what we want. So right now we are going to separate the click me from the image. But in a situation whereby this is how you want it on your own website, you can equally leave it like that. But since it's not, I don't want my click me to be beside my image. Now this is how to separate it. Now we go back to our code. Give space on your codes. You use the break element. the break element, BR. It is identified by the BR. Close it. It doesn't have opening and closing tag. You just use the less than and greater than sign. The more BR you write, the more BR tag or BR element you write on your website, the more space the thing will give on your website. So you use the BR to break, we call it the break. You use it to break the lines. So you can see I wrote 2BR because I want it to give it more space. Now go back to your website, refresh. You can see that the click me is no longer with the image. You can see that it's now below the image, and this is exactly how I want it to appear on my website. So whenever you're writing anything and they appear on the same line and you don't want it to be on the same line, the way to break them is by using the BR tag or the BR element. Use it to break your words, your lines, and all that. So I believe you've learned something today. We've come to the end of today's lesson. Stay tuned to the channel because we'll still be rolling out more lessons. We have assignment to this. Replicate what you have learned from this video. Snap your code and the browser environment. Post your picture in the comments. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments and I will try my best to respond to all of them. Stay tuned to the channel. Like, share, subscribe. See you in my next one. Bye.